We are back, ladies, gentlemen, fellas. The final week of the NBA regular season starts off on Monday, and they give us a very nice, we also get one in 2 days on Wednesday, 6-game slate today, so it's time right now to smack you around. How y'all doing today? Happy to be back after going home for the weekend, taking care of some family things. Let's start it off right now with your top 8 schmacks, your top 8 plays on the day today, starting with the number 8 play. And the number 8 play on the day for this 6-game slate is going to be Trey Young. And Trey Young is somebody who over the last couple of days and really the last couple of weeks and games has been up and down. Consistent, inconsistent, and where does it all stem from? Now, normally it stems from does his assist percentage actually click for him? And that really doesn't depend on himself as much as his teammates making some motherfucking shots for him. So how is Kevin Huerter playing? How is Lou Williams playing? How is Bogdanovich playing? And Bogdanovich has been playing very well lately. So you're seeing Trey Young in the last 3 games, 11, 12, and 10, getting those double-digit assists, which is nice to see, which usually cashes in on the double-doubles for him, and that's why he's able to score the 50 points that you've been seeing. Some games he gets hot from 3, but it really comes down to the assists, and we can pour it on even more about those assist percentages by looking right now on Add More Funds. So if I pull up Add More Funds and this team this season, you can see that Trey Young plays the second most minutes on this team, which is pretty whomping. 2,009 minutes. Whomping. What the fuck does that mean? Pretty wild. 2,009 minutes, and here's the big thing. A 42.7% assist percentage. This is what his normal assist percentage is on this team. So he's normally piling on the assists. It's a matter of how many of those potential assists turn into actual assists based on the guys on his team. Can they make them motherfucking shots? And a lot of these guys just can't this season, but when they do, Trey Young hits the double-doubles, and he pushes towards 50 fantasy points, and now his price point is currently at $9,300, which is actually decreasing in price after his last couple of solid games. So Trey Young for me today is the number 8 play on the slate. Ladies, gentlemen, fellas, how you doing today? I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to be back on this Monday, clear my head, do some things this weekend for my grandma's memorial service, Mother's Day with my mother, got to spend time in the city with some friends and my girlfriend, so it was really, really nice, just different pillars to my weekend, and all of it was really refreshing, all of it was really great, reading a fantastic book recommended by Rick Gaiman, who you might know does fantasy golf content and a fantasy betting content, and it really clears my head a lot. So it allows me to kind of zone in on what I want to do, and I obviously want to be making this content, so I was very excited to get back here in the booth, if you will, and produce these podcasts and videos for you. We'll be live later today, right around 5:30 p.m., so not 5:30, because the slate starts at 7:30 p.m. East Coast time, and I believe that I'm getting back into the golf streets this week after a month off of golf to clear my head and figure out exactly what I wanted to do and tailor this channel towards. Let's get back with some golf. I mean, the king is back, Rory McIlroy is back. Let's get back with some golf. So a lot more content coming out. Like, subscribe, do those things. Let's get into the rest of the top 10 plays in the day today. And as we get into the number 7 play on the slate today, Andrew Wiggins, happy National Clean Your Room Day. I'm like full on cleaning my room because I'm moving to Texas on Thursday, doing a road trip down for a couple of days. So I got this whole room outside of the studio. Everything else is fucking packed up in the corner. The studio is going to be coming down Wednesday night once I record the Thursday NBA video and just stripping everything else down. Andrew Wiggins is going to be the number 7 play in the day. Andrew Wiggins has been seeing consistent minutes and increasing ball handling responsibilities when Kelly Oubre, who has been out for a while now, is not on the court. Now, the last time out, the game blew out. They ended up beating OKC by literally 39 points, so only played 24 minutes. But in the games when the games actually stay close, you're getting 38, 39, 34 minutes out of Wiggins and pretty easily going over 30 to 35 fantasy points. 3 out of his last 4 games over 35 fantasy points, with twice in there going over 37 fantasy points. So Andrew Wiggins is producing over a fantasy point per minute. I have him for 1.05 fantasy points per minute today at a 34.5, call it 35 if you want, minutes projection. So at $6,900, the price point's actually dropped $400 since the last time out. It's dropped because of a blowout game. Doesn't make much sense to me. Give me Andrew Wiggins with a 113 team implied total today. The other thing also about Trey Young, a 121.5 team implied total, is the second highest on the slate today, only behind one Portland Trailblazers. So we get through the top 2 plays on the slate. We get to the number 6 play on the slate today, and it'll be interesting to see who's in the starting lineup. The big news today, and there's a couple of big pieces of injury news, but the biggest news today is that Bradley Beal's out. We already know Russell Westbrook's a triple-double king. We had some stats by Yeet King posted in the Discord last night. Bleacher Report, right? He's taking some things from Twitter. Russ in the month of May so far, right? So it's only May 10th, but a couple of games. 26 points, 16 rebounds per game, 16 assists per game. Absolute monster. You can continue to go down through that. Russell Westbrook is averaging more rebounds this season. Right now, he's 6'3", right? He's averaging more rebounds than Joel Embiid, Nikola Vucevic, Nikola Jokic, Giannis, DeAndre, and all these centers and high-producing power forward. Giannis basically a center, though. And the wildest stat of them all is that Russell Westbrook, over the last couple of seasons, right, over his last 295 games, is more likely to make a triple-double or get a triple-double in a game percentage-wise than make every single shot that he takes, because he's somewhat of an inefficient shooter, right? But he's also just a stat compiler. So all these things about Russell Westbrook, we know how good he is, even playing next to a high producer like Bradley Beal, and now motherfucking Bradley Beal is out today. So Russ becomes a 1.6 plus fantasy point per minute producer, and what you get is some other players going to step up not only in minutes but production. So one of those guys today is going to be our number 6 play in the slate, and that is going to be one Ish Smith. And if I pull up what Ish Smith does, he has a nice sample with no Bradley Beal on the court of 444 minutes of play, and we'll highlight him right here on YouTube on the Add More Funds platform, and he averages a very nice 0.88 fantasy points per minute. The bigger thing that he does, and we'll zoom in on it, is what I like to see. You know this channel, you've been watching this channel for a while, maybe you haven't. I like to see assist percentage. 26.3% is a very good and close to elite assist percentage. I would say elite start to be around 35 plus. Really good to elite is like 30% plus, but anything above 20 is really good. Above 25 is fantastic. So 26% assist percentage and a strong minute sample. So if his shot's not falling, he still has ways out, especially at a $3,300 price tag today, to get you to 20 plus fantasy points. Now, there are some other guys that are going to benefit today that didn't make this list. One being Howell Nato, who Nato averages 0.81 fantasy points per minute and is likely the guy to start today. So he might play a couple more minutes than Ish Smith, but he's also going to be $1,200 more expensive and really not as productive as when Ish Smith is on the court, based on what we're seeing right here in the stats, the big facts. So the number 6 play in the slate today is going to be one Ish Smith. So as we get into the top 5 schmacks on the day today, happy Lipids Day. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know. I've heard of lipids and things like that. I don't know if they're good or bad. I don't know what the fuck a lipid is. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. But if you do today, make sure you celebrate responsibly. Hey. Take care of your fucking lipids. I don't even know if I have lipids. I don't know what the fuck they are. So, before we get into the top 5 plays on the day, the sponsor of the L program today is going to be none other than the motherfucking people over at Prize Picks. Come on, let's smack Prize Picks around this month. Come on, let's smack Prize Picks around. What is Prize Picks? It is an over-under on fantasy scoring or just props in general. You just take the over-under. It is very simple. So today they have 8 props early in the day, and then later on in the day they'll have 30 to 40 depending on the slate. Simple. Over, under, fantasy points. You pair some together, you win some dollar rooskies. And the big thing, if you want to sign up and try this out, which if you're a patron, if you're anybody, but if you're a patron and you have access to the Patreon Prize Picks Discord, you have access to the projections to help you out. I don't know why you're not already signed up for this, at least giving it a shot. So linked down below, there's a link. Use the code SAL when you sign up, and any money you put in up to $100, they'll double it. That is right. Free money up to $100 if you make your first deposit on Prize Picks with that code SAL. So that is a limited time offer, so be sure to take advantage of that to double your dollar rooskies. Right now, early on in the day, give me Karis LeVert over 43. This is a hedge that Malcolm Brogdon stays out with a couple of days left in the regular season. I'm assuming that most guys who are questionable, especially if they have lower body injuries, are going to just say, you know what, I'm not playing the last 2 games of the season, something along those lines. Let's just hold this one out. So if Malcolm Brogdon is out today, go ahead and take the over on Karis LeVert, and I'm going to be pairing that up. There's some crazy props on here, but I'll be pairing it up currently right now in the morning with Lonzo Ball over 40. Last time out, Lonzo Ball didn't get the full minutes, didn't shoot well. That's going to happen with Lonzo Ball, but he is a triple-double upside type of player. You saw that a couple of games back with all these guys out. Zion's out. Brandon Ingram dealing with a lower body injury. I'm projecting him out. Steven Adams, who honestly, if he doesn't play, it might actually be worse for a guy like Lonzo, because then Jackson Hayes, a better producer, steps on the court more, and Hernan Gomez. But Lonzo Ball over 40 fantasy points today with a nice team implied total. So give me the over on Lonzo on Prize Picks, and then give me the over on LeVert if there's no Brogdon. You smack those two together, you make some dollar rooskies. What are you waiting for? Use that code SAL. They'll double your first deposit. That is free money bonus up to $100 with the link in the description below. And the code SAL, that is SAL, to let them know you came from your boy. So the number 5 play in the slate is somebody that we mentioned. We mentioned while we were talking about all that stuff right there, and that is going to be Willie, Hernan Gomez. Hernan Gomez started yesterday. I'm projecting out today Brandon Ingram. Zion's already out. I'm projecting out today Steven Adams. So there's a lot of guys already out, and Willie Hernan Gomez has the highest point per minute production with all those guys off the court this season. He averages 1.32 fantasy points per minute with those guys off the court. Now, yesterday he only played 22 minutes of play, and there's not much to contribute that to other than Jackson Hayes just playing better and them wanting to give the younger guy, the second-year center, more time, because Jackson Hayes yesterday, the game was close. I mean, the game was timed, but a couple of minutes left in the game, 2-3 minutes left. Jackson Hayes closed the entire fourth quarter, and he played the final couple minutes of the third quarter. So when Jackson Hayes is going out there and playing the final 16 minutes of the game, yeah, it's hard for Willie Hernan Gomez, even if he starts, to get more than the 22 minutes he got yesterday. But even if 22 minutes of play, he still goes for over 34 fantasy points. So if Willie Hernan Gomez is going to start yet again, yes, the price point is now more expensive, but if he's going to start yet again, I'll take the $5,700. I'll take the chances that Jackson Hayes doesn't play the final 16 minutes of the game again. There is a risk that he does, but even Hernan Gomez at 26 minutes or 24 minutes of play today, with all these bodies out, if Brandon Ingram is out, looks good with a 108.25 team implied total today and a nice matchup against Memphis. So he's going to be the number 5 play in the slate. The number 4 play in the slate today is going to be one Steph Curry. And here's the thing. We already have enough value with Bradley Beal out. We know we're going to get some value pieces from Washington, whether it is a Davis Bertans, a Nato, an Ish Smith that we talked about and you can see on the screen right now. And it's very likely that we get more value pieces, potentially a lot from Houston today, right? We already know that they've had a lot of injuries. Kevin Porter's out today. You have Kelly Olynyk and Christian Wood questionable. So there might be some nice mid-range and lower range value there. So we know we're getting value because it's the end of the year, and a lot of guys get ruled out. So it's really easy to, I mean, you could probably tell Russell Westbrook's going to be on this list with no Bradley Beal, but it's easy to pay up for double studs. Maybe you want to go Trey Young, or maybe you want to go to Steph Curry at 10,500, who continues to make his case over the final week for the MVP candidacy, or at least the runner-up spot behind Nikola Jokic, and continues to just absolutely smack the shit out of the three-point ball. Last time out there, he shot 11 of 21, 52%, absolutely dynamite, made all 10 of his free throws, scored 65 fantasy points. The guy is just consistently balling out, whether he's shooting 20-plus threes like he has in 3 out of his last 4 games, or he's getting you there just based on pure minutes. It's crazy what Steph Curry is doing right now. He has a 113 team implied total today against a Utah team that is down a decent amount of guards today with no Mike Conley out there. You have guys like Jordan Clarkson, who are not great defenders, with no Donovan Mitchell out there. So Stephen Curry, I almost said Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry at $10,500 today is somebody for me who I'm going to be projecting him out for about 36, 35 minutes of play today. And a whopping, what he's been doing today, close to 1, or these days, 1.5 fantasy points per minute. It's pretty fucking nuts. So he'll be the number 4 play in the slate as we get inside the top 3. Before we get there, a quick schmack for you. Sign up for Patreon. Get in right now. No better time than right now with a new week of MMA, PGA, MLB projections, and NBA every single day. We have lineup optimizers, ownership for some sports, rankings, top plays, the Discord access, a bunch of shit that you're going to get for industry low prices. Because here's the thing. I'm reading the company of one. I'm literally a company one. I got a couple of contractors that help me here and there with graphics and some other shit. But I am the only employee of my business, so all I have to do is sustain myself so I can lower the prices and keep them low. And the way that we get to keep the prices low and sustain myself is if people actually enjoy and keep the retention of Patreon, which has been happening right now, which speaks good volumes for that. And here's a fellow who just signed up on Friday. My man Caesar. This is straight out of the Discord. He said, I had a decent Mother's Day last night. My man turned $33 into over $4,000 of play last night. Decent Mother's Day, he says. Happy Mother's Day to all the beautiful queens out there. Sal, let me get a shout out on tomorrow's stream. I subscribed to your Patreon on Friday and had my biggest cash out with only $33. My name is Caesar, by the way. So he says he had his biggest cash out with only $33, meaning he used $33 to turn it into $4,000. Pretty fucking good investment for the $25 Patreon to now have, with the projections and some of the other tools that we have, $4,000 whiskeys. Caesar did a lot of the work, right? But the tools are there to assist you to get to that finish line. They're there to be an extra little backpack to get you towards the finish line, baby. So what the fuck are you waiting for? If you want to be like Caesar, look at this beautiful plug that we get here. You want to be like Caesar, sign up for Patreon down below. Your odds of increasing or winning, your research time is going to reduce, your tools that are going to give you chances of winning will increase, and you'll join a lovely community. What's up, Caesar? Shout out to you. You get the nice little shout out today. Get on Patreon, link down below. The number 3 play in the day today is going to be 1, Jackson Hayes. We already talked about his teammate. Right now, and Willie Hernan Gomez. I like Jackson Hayes even if he doesn't start. He's $1,200 cheaper, and they've been showing the need and the want to play Jackson Hayes more, especially in the closing rotation, which allows his minutes, even though he doesn't start, to creep up towards the mid to upper 20s. With these guys out, no Zion, potentially no Adams. I only like these guys if Adams is out, right? But potentially no Adams. We're ruling him out. We're ruling out Brandon Ingram on my end right now. You're getting Jackson Hayes to play 24 plus minutes in each of the last 3 games. Back-to-back games of over 41 fantasy points. Back-to-back games of double-digit shot attempts right now. He's just a very strong producer. Like last time out, he had 6 blocks. That's not going to happen every single time out, but as a active center, he'll probably get you 2 blocks or so. And at $4,500, I don't need 6 blocks. I don't need 40 fantasy points. Go out there and give me 30 fantasy points at $4,500, and we really like to see that. And based on how much he's playing right now, it seems very likely that that is going to be the case more times than not, if indeed he gets the minutes. So we pulled up that chart earlier to show you Willie Hernan Gomez averages the highest fantasy points per minute with all these guys off the court. Jackson Hayes actually has a bigger minute sample of 210 minutes, and he averages 1.22 fantasy points per minute. So the second highest on the team right now. So these are the 2 best producers on this team, even ahead of Lonzo Ball, who averages 1.03, with your Brandon Ingrams, your Zions, and your Adams off the court. So I do like to see this for Jackson Hayes. With the cheaper price point, give me Jackson Hayes as our higher player right now, as the number 3 play in the slate. We get to the number 2 play in the slate, and it's going to be KJ Martin. It's just hard not to give it to KJ Martin. We have to see what happens with some injury news today. Even if Christian Wood is out there, I like KJ Martin, but we have to really see what happens with Christian Wood 1 and Kelly Olynyk, who are both questionable today. KJ Martin's going to play big minutes either way. Even if Jason Tate and all these guys are out there, KJ Martin is still going to be playing some decent minutes because they're still down a lot of bodies. So even if all these guys are out, expect KJ Martin to play around 30 minutes of play. The problem is now at 30 minutes of play, and if better players are on the court, $6,200 is probably the fair price point for a guy who's going to project for around 30 points. But if one of Christian Wood or Kelly Olynyk are out, you get the minutes you've been getting lately out of Mr. KJ Martin. 44, 39, and 39 minutes. And what has he scored in those times? 47.5, 50, and 50 fantasy points, and he's only $6,200. So give me just one of these guys off the court today, and I'm going to be projecting 36 minutes or so over fantasy point per minute for a guy at $6,200, and he's going to be projecting out for over fantasy or close to 40 fantasy points for me. So KJ Martin, Kenny Martin Jr., somebody that we continue to absolutely love and pound on this YouTube channel, pause, is the number 2 play in the slate. And as we get into the number 1 play in the slate today, we haven't said his name, so you should probably know who he is. And if you don't know, you're about to know. Like, subscribe as we get into it. Thank you for tuning in today's video. We'll be live again at 5:30 p.m. East Coast time. Hey, Everybody watching this video is not right now is not subscribed. Everybody watching this video doesn't have the notification bell hit. If you got any questions later on, come into the live stream. And if you want to see any of the other content from the NFL to the golf content that we have coming out this week, be sure to subscribe and be notified. The numero uno, number one play on the day today is going to be none other than Russell Westbrook. I don't even have to put together too much. We already gave you all those stats earlier that he's more likely today to get a triple-double than make any individual shot over his last close to 300 games at this point. That he's leading rebounds for almost every single center in the league right now, just 6'3". He averages on the season, I could just pull it up for you. Why not just pull it up? He averages on the season right now with Bradley Beal off the court in an 863-minute sample, 1.58 fantasy points per minute. Just absolutely nuts. If I give him 1.6 fantasy points per minute today, if I give him 38 minutes of play, which is what he's been playing, and I wouldn't be shocked if he plays 39 or 40, he already projects out for over 60 fantasy points for me, well over that. I'm not really on the prize pick 64 over under because you don't get the triple-double upside bonus points in there like you do on DraftKings. But man, oh man, a 115 team implied total, a matchup against Atlanta, a nice pace environment spot. Russell Westbrook, I don't have to tell you, likely going to be projecting out for above average percent chance of a triple-double today, even above his average standards, and that's going to be projecting out for me for around 60 or more fantasy points. Russell Westbrook today, I expect Russell Westbrook to be projecting out for close to 10 more fantasy points than anybody else on a somewhat smaller 6-game slate, which just basically means you have to play him from the opportunity cost standpoint. On a 6-game slate with no Bradley Beal, expect Russell Westbrook to be coming in with 40+% ownership. And your small field single entry in 3 max of under 1,000 people, I'm okay to play that. If you're playing one lineup in a 150 max, you might have to get away from it, but there's a really fucking good chance today I'm lock buttoning Russell Westbrook. Check it out later on today to see exactly how much in the big energy lineup optimizer I get of him, or you can play around yourself down below on Patreon. So there's my number one play in the day, the top 8 schmacks on the day for all of you today. We can pull them all up right now. There's your top 8 schmacks on the day. Thank you for tuning in so much. Be sure to support the sponsor of the program today, which is PrizePicks. We currently have on PrizePicks, we're doing over it. Use the code SAL, link in the description below. The over on Karis LeVert 43. If there's no Malcolm Brogdon, the over on Lonzo Ball 40 early on in the day. And the other one, if you made it through all the way through right now and you're still here, you're still rocking with me, I want to let you know about SuperDraft, who a couple people have signed up over the last couple of days. I've been watching SuperDraft's contests lately. They ain't even coming close to filling, but they're increasing. This is the big thing. They're increasing the entry. 800 plus people. These have normally been around 600 people for these $2,000 to first contests. So if they're getting bold now and adding 150 to 200 people, they're expecting those to fill. I think that out of that, 2/3 of it will fill. So tonight, this contest is probably going to fill around 70 to 75%. If that's the case, just by entering a lineup, you beat on average around 25% of the field, if not more. That will not happen on any other site tonight. This is your best chance anywhere to win $2,000 in DFS, sports betting, probably any type of lottery system today. $2,000 best chance. Check it out, linked down below. If you use the code SAL, your first $25 deposit, they'll give you $25, bam, double your money right there. Again, this is going to be your best chance of winning $2,000 anywhere in the industry today because this contest will not fill. Check it out while it lasts and while these contests are not filling. You all rock. I'll see you on the next one, gang. It's good to be back. It's good to be making content. Be on the lookout for more later on today.